Thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank you.
Right, of course, a very important thing to note is that there's been a sharp rise in the number of attacks, with Kenya ranking among the top targeted 3 countries in Africa when it comes to cybersecurity. I want us to start our conversation there. Yes. In your experience, what have you seen or what has been the main cause of and threats of cybersecurity here in Kenya?
Here in Kenya, the main cause of cybersecurity threats is the digital content. The digital content is growing from a personal level, organizational level. Personally, I have data that I store on my phone. I have all the credentials, banking details, photographs and all that are on my phone. They are growing every day. From the organization level, digital data is growing very fast because everything is digitalized. Government, we are digitizing the economy basically, so everything is digital. And any content that is digital, you can call it modern capitalism.
Right, interesting word.
Yes, having access to that data, you can model whatever you need, either business for good or for bad. So that's the reason why there is increasing cybersecurity issues, and especially in Kenya and also in Africa at large. Yeah, because we are globally connected. We are globally connected, and you can do business from your sitting room to across the world. So an attack is not necessarily from the local. It could be anywhere in the world. Anywhere, someone seated somewhere observing the growth of digital content in Africa has an interest. They will have an interest.
Right.
Yes.
Just on the same, still here in the country, you know, we saw a few months ago, I think, there's a government portal that was attacked. And we've seen that the government is really insisting on making sure that everything is digitized, everything is online. Do you think that exposes everything?
Well, that's a way to go. To digitize, you simplify processes of government, the way government does businesses. And it's a way the world is going. The global economy is digitalized. So the government is doing its development is actually based on development. We are developing, and we are developing fast because we are a huge market in Africa. And for us to communicate or sell or buy from any other part of the globe, we must be digital. Yes.
Are we teaching in our schools students on cybersecurity?
Yes, that's a good question. It's interesting that cybersecurity has been kind of branded. You know, when we use the word hacker, hacking sounds like a very bad thing, but hacking is a very good thing, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, we should be teaching our children and young people how to hack. But there is a caveat on that. It's ethical hacking. It's not just hacking. So cybersecurity is actually related. It is intertwined with hacking. Hacking is a process of penetrating a system, looking at how I can break into your social media account, or how I can have access to your passwords of your phone. Because once I have a password of your phone, probably I can find details of your banking account. Now, training and education comes in the sense that you need to understand how the hacker thinks in order to prevent them from causing harm or on the digital content that you have as an individual, and also an organization as an entity.
Yeah, because that's pretty dangerous if you put it that way. If someone has access to all your content and all your information, they can easily, exactly. So data protection at the end of the day is what you look at. But again, back to that education matter, do you think we have enough schools that are teaching, high level training when it comes to cybersecurity or cyber, attacks that happen?
In my view, we are doing good in terms of the education, because there's a difference between education and training. On the education part of it, there are quite a number of schools that are actually doing that from primary level all the way to university level. I mean, it's being taught. But then what we are seeing from the industry is that there is need for advanced training, hands-on skills. You know, you need to be exposed to skills of the industry, of how things operate, how that data is saved, or how it should be secured, you see. So the advanced training is what now everyone is struggling with, including the government, the industry, the academia. Yes. Yes.
Let's talk about now protection, of course. How can Kenyans, you know, in people who are either in businesses or just individuals, protect themselves from just the common threats when it comes to cybersecurity?
Protection begins with the weakest link. The weakest link is the human, the user, the individual who is interacting with the gadget. And mostly with the Internet of Things. It means your phone is digital, you have a TV that is digital, you have your computer, you have... So from a personal level, the protection begins with awareness. Awareness of what is cybersecurity. How can you not reveal your password? How can you not allow individuals who are not authorized to use your computer or laptop? How you can be safe at an open place where there is Wi-Fi, you know. Many of us want to explore, you know, explore. You want to work in an open place and you have a Wi-Fi. Now you do not know who is watching when you're there. So awareness is very important in terms of protection. Now the other part, the flip side of the coin, is the technical part of it, where the students now need to be trained on actual scenarios. Right. That is what we call simulations. Yes, yes. Actual scenarios of how to protect an individual illegally attempting to penetrate or access digital data, either for the government or individual or company. Yes, that's the way to go.
Right, you've talked about awareness and the importance of it, but are there any initiatives that you've seen that are in place, whether it's with organizations or individuals, to make sure that they're raising enough awareness and educating the public, not only students now, on cybersecurity? Yes, there is enough. The government is doing a lot. The industry is doing a lot. The academia is also doing a lot, because you find there are many institutions of learning, of higher learning, who are now introducing cybersecurity as a course. Others are also introducing certifications. So the awareness from the academia level, it's also it's good. It's growing. From the government, yes, it's there, but there is a lot that needs to be done, so that we remove this fear of hackers and hacking. Because the moment... I mean, you know, the moment you say the word hacker, it definitely goes to a very negative connotation to it. And you said ethical hacker, so not so many people would put it together. So again, I think that's why it's important to have that awareness. Yes. Right. Yeah, so that the ethical element of it is the good hacker. The good hacker is the one who is trained to understand that there is need for security. There is need to secure our digital data. That is an ethical hacker. Of course, depending on orientation and the people, you will find individuals who will want to harm an organization, to harm an individual for their own, you know, things. People are different. People are different. But the training element of it, where ethics is introduced, it brings up an ethical hacker. Someone who knows that this is a career, this is very important for our protection as a country, as Africa, and because our assets, the digital assets, are very important to us. So they need to be protected, and they can only be protected by someone who understands that we need to protect our data at whatever cost in a technical perspective.
not for any financial gain. Of course, now there is the other element of the bad hackers. The bad hackers are the ones who probably I would say they have introduced the capitalism nature of, because if I have access to your way of shopping, how you shop from a supermarket, the goods that you buy, details that you, if a hacker can have access to that information, they can introduce a competitor who will introduce the same goods and bring them closer to you. So that competitive kind of nature is the bad side of hacking. But ethical hacking is the way to go. Yes.
Let's talk about now improvement. In your opinion, how do you think the Kenyan government should work to improve cybersecurity now in terms of infrastructure and policies in place?
We are calling it, or I would call it, a three-dimension model. A three-dimension model is the collaboration or partnership between academia, government, and the industry. The government is the one that provides the policies and funding. I'll talk about the funding element of it, because we need research. We need research from, and then the university is the one that is doing research, and is the one that is doing innovation, you know. And then they need, the academia needs the industry, because the students that are being taught from the universities need access to practical scenarios from the industry. So the collaboration, the partnership between the three is very important, so that we grow the talent of protecting our digital infrastructure, personal digital assets, and all that. So the collaboration element is very important, because the government cannot do it alone. The academia cannot do it alone. The industry needs the government because of policies and all that. So the three need to find ways of collaborating, not because of the growth. They need to find ways of what each has done and how we can sync them to grow our talent in terms of protection.
Let's talk about now the continent, in Africa. I mean, not many countries in the continent are as developed as Kenya, and not most of them are necessarily facing the kind of challenges when it comes to cybersecurity. But in your opinion, what is the status of cybersecurity in the continent?
The status of cybersecurity is, in my opinion, needs to be grown. And it is, the scenarios are different depending on the infrastructure of governments. So the more the government is digitalizing its assets and its operations, the more cybersecurity need to be grown in those countries. So in terms of, like you said, Kenya is one of the centers, you know, of economic, it's an economic center in Africa. South Africa is, West Africa, they have Ghana. In North Africa, Egypt. These countries are doing better compared to other countries. So there is room, there is actually need to grow cybersecurity as a continent. And because there is the collaboration across borders. For example, any crime committed in Uganda, in Kenya, or in South Africa requires cross-border cooperation, where you need to seek permission to be able to pursue a case of a hacker who is sitting somewhere in Sudan or in South Africa. So the collaboration, the level of international collaboration is very important, so that we harmonize the way of operations, the way we are growing the sector, the cybersecurity sector, because it cuts across all disciplines. So yes, we are not very far away from other countries, but there is a lot that needs to be done.
There's a lot that needs to be done.
And especially at this era when the AI is coming into play. Yes, and it's important for the African continent, the Africa continent, to work together.
Right. Let's talk about now in terms of sectors. Are there any specific sectors that are more vulnerable to cybersecurity attacks?
I would say yes, and I would pick Kenya. Kenya, of course, we are known globally for M-Pesa. And M-Pesa means we can transact monies on our phones. So the sectors that are directly linked to our phone, which means banks, which means the supply chain, supermarkets and all that. And yes, I would say those are the most vulnerable because anyone with a bad intention follows one thing, money. Now the money is on the phone, and on the phone they understand how you're linked to your bank account. They understand how you do your shopping because the money is on your phone. So yes, the sectors that are more vulnerable, it's the telecom, the banking industry, and the supply chain.
Then what measures should be put in place to curb these attacks just happening to these specific sectors?
Well, I would say it is a collaboration of the three entities where we grow our ecosystem. Each country needs to grow their ecosystem. Ecosystem meaning you have talent, you have a pipeline of talent that is skilled to be absorbed into the market. And the other bit is the awareness. The human factor, of course, is the weakest link. And the awareness of, cybersecurity has been amplified as something that is very complicated. It's not complicated. It's a question of securing what is digital for everyone. Yes. Because
when say cybersecurity seems a bit more technical usually, so that would be the assumption.
Yes.
But let's talk about now the upcoming conference, that is the Cyber Week Africa 2023 conference that is happening at University of Nairobi. So give us more details on that.
Cyber Week Africa 2023 is the name of the conference, or the brand of the conference, and it is in line with the month of October. Globally, it's a cyber month, cyber security awareness month. So the conference that is coming up, it's organized by CyberPro Global in collaboration with Nairobi University School of Computing and Informatics and Kenya School of Government. The participants or the audience is actually government, academia, and the industry. As I have said, the theme is bridging security skills gaps in Africa. What we are saying is industry has done so much. Academia has done so much. Let's come together. And the government also done so much. Let's come together and find a way forward to grow talents, to grow skills of the young people who are in primary school, in secondary school, and in universities. So that especially when someone now leaves college, they can go straight to the industry and work. Yes.
Are there any specific initiatives that are in place when it comes to making sure young people are involved completely in this process? Even with the Cyber Week conference, yes, it's happening at the university and you've talked about the talent.
Yes.
But what other ways, apart from people who live in Nairobi, even outside Nairobi, are you including young people in this kind of conversations?
Yes, we have a project of awareness where we visit schools, we talk to organizations, we give pro bono trainings on cybersecurity, and it's growing. We are reaching more young people, and we are coming up with, we are saying, let's sit together as the academia and the industry and the government. Let's find ways of reaching more young people, of giving them knowledge in terms of cybersecurity in such a way that the career is acceptable. In many occasions, you find parents not really knowing exactly what is my son or daughter going to do when they say, I want to be a hacker or I want to study cybersecurity. But it's a skill that is across all disciplines. Yes.
Just to wrap up now, maybe ask you a question that's a little controversial, if I may put. Where do you think cybersecurity should be housed in terms of like ministries? There's the ICT ministry, there's the Ministry of Interior. Where do you think it should be? Because it's related to crime also.
Yes.
So where do you think, in your opinion, it should be?
First of all, before where it should be interdisciplinary in any institution. A lawyer needs an element of cybersecurity. An engineer requires some knowledge of cybersecurity. A doctor requires knowledge of cybersecurity. Now, in terms of positioning and policy, that is where it's important for us, and for a good reason. The ICT, Ministry of ICT, is collecting views from the public on how we can organize our cybersecurity or security in general for our country. Well, I would say the current structure is good. It has several layers, but they require to be harmonized in such a way that command, the chain of command, is easy. When an incident happens, it doesn't have to be helter-skelter, you know, that
right.
Yeah, it needs to be the chain of command in terms of response to an incident. It requires to be on the spot, you know, yeah, and it can be acted upon.
Right. You can tell us a bit more maybe about another conference that you said is happening next week. Who are we expecting to be maybe the keynote speaker, and who else is coming into it?
Yeah, we are expecting ICTA. ICTA is playing a role. The ministry of the ICT ministry is playing a role. The universities are playing roles, starting with the University of Nairobi, Catholic University, Daystar University, KCA, JQ. We have so many students from all the universities in Kenya who are coming for that conference. We have professors who are skilled in cybersecurity, who are teaching cybersecurity. They are speaking at the event. We have ISACA, who are speaking at the conference.
Yes.
From the industry, we have, I'll mention Cisco, we have Microsoft.
Right.
We have and other players in the ICT sector. So basically, and individuals who are interested in learning cybersecurity, they are also attending.
Right. Thank you very much. That has been an interesting conversation. That is Benjamin Mwando. He is Strategic Alliance Director at CyberPro.